3 months ago, I spent 4 hours organizing this pantry, and now
It looks like a grocery store after Black Friday.
sound familiar? I know that sinking feeling when you open your pantry door and instantly feel your shoulders tense up. That moment when you're rushing to make dinner and you know that the ingredient you need is in there somewhere, buried behind layers of chaos that somehow materialize despite your best efforts. If you're anything like me, you've probably watched dozens of organization videos, bought all the containers, and still somehow your pantry looks like this within weeks. But what if I told you the problem isn't you? It's the methods you've been taught. What if I told you that the real reason your pantry keeps falling into chaos has nothing to do with your commitment or organizational skills, but everything to do with working against your brain's natural patterns instead of with them? Today, I'm going to share something different. Not just another Buy These Containers video, but the 4 psychological and practical methods that completely transformed how I maintain my pantry. These aren't just tips. They're behavior-changing systems that work with your natural habits, not against them. And the best part? They're designed for real people with real lives, not Instagram-perfect homes with unlimited time for maintenance. Before we continue, if you enjoy learning about life-changing organization methods that actually stick, make sure to click that subscribe button. This is the best way for you to support our work. Thank you very much, and let's continue. Let me take you on a journey that started with my own breaking point. It was a Tuesday evening, and I was hosting a dinner party in 2 hours. I needed the maple syrup for my signature glazed carrots, a simple ingredient that should have taken seconds to find. Instead, I found myself pulling out container after container, getting increasingly frustrated as time ticked away. That was the moment I realized something had to change fundamentally in how I approached pantry organization. Let's start with what I call the 80-20 zone system. The reason most pantry organizations fail is that we try to organize 100% of our space with the same intensity. Here's the game-changing truth. 80% of what you regularly use takes up only 20% of your pantry space. This isn't just a random statistic. It's based on careful observation of how we actually use our kitchens, not how we think we use them. Think about your morning routine. You reach for the same coffee or tea, the same breakfast ingredients, the same snacks.
Yet traditional pantry organization treats all items equally, as if you're just as likely to reach for birthday candles as you are for morning coffee.
This misunderstanding of human behavior is at the root of why most systems fail. Instead of treating all spaces equally, we're going to create 3 distinct zones, but we're going to do it differently than you've ever seen before.
The golden zone is your prime real estate, eye level, easily accessible for daily items.
But here's where most people go wrong. They make this zone too big. Your golden zone should only take up about 20% of your total pantry space. This feels counterintuitive at first, but trust me, this constraint is what makes the system work. In your golden zone, every item should pass what I call the 3-second test. If you can't grab it within 3 seconds, it doesn't belong here. This means your coffee, breakfast items, and everyday snacks. But here's the crucial part that most organization videos never tell you. You need to leave 20% of this zone empty. This empty space isn't wasted. It's essential breathing room that prevents the cascade of chaos that happens when spaces are packed too tightly. The flex zone, which occupies your metal shelves, is for weekly use items. This is where the magic of adaptability happens. Your baking supplies, less used spices, and backup supplies live here. But here's the key. Items in the flex zone should be arranged in what I call flow patterns. These patterns mirror how you actually cook and use these items. For example, if you bake regularly, your flour, sugar, and baking powder should be grouped together, but also arranged in the order you typically use them. This seemingly small detail makes a massive difference in maintaining organization over time. The deep storage zone might seem like the least important, but it's actually crucial for the success of the entire system. This zone, typically your top and bottom shelves, is for seasonal items, bulk purchases, and those things you only use occasionally. But here's where most people go wrong with deep storage. They treat it like a black hole where items go to be forgotten.
Instead, we're going to implement what I call the rotation station system.
The rotation station works like this. Every bulk item in deep storage has a smaller, usable portion in either the golden or flex zone. When you buy in bulk, let's say a 3-pack of olive oil from Costco, 1 bottle goes in your flex zone for current use, while the others go in deep storage. The key is to never break this rule. Bulk items must always be split between zones. This prevents the common problem of forgetting what you have in storage and buying duplicates. Now, let's talk about the 2-minute reset rule, which is perhaps the most powerful behavior-changing technique in this entire system. Most organization methods fail because they require massive time investments for maintenance. The 2-minute reset rule flips this on its head. Instead of waiting for your pantry to become overwhelming, you're going to implement micro-resets throughout your day. Here's how it works. Every time you take something out of your pantry, spend just 2 minutes. Yes, actually time it, putting related items back in order. But there's a crucial psychology behind this that most people miss. The 2 minutes aren't just about tidying, they're about creating what psychologists call a habit loop. When you consistently pair the action of taking something out with a quick reset, you're building a neural pathway that makes organization automatic rather than forced.
Let me share a real example from my own kitchen.
When I reach for my coffee in the morning, my 2-minute reset might involve straightening the coffee filters, checking if my backup coffee needs to be moved from deep storage, and quickly aligning any nearby breakfast items. This isn't about perfection. It's about maintenance that feels as natural as brushing your teeth. Now, let's tackle what I call the clear container myth. And this might be controversial, but it needs to be said. The idea that everything in your pantry needs to be in a clear container is not just expensive, it's actually counterproductive for most people. This myth has probably cost you hundreds of dollars and hours of maintenance time, and I'm going to show you why it's holding you back. Instead of transferring everything to clear containers, we're going to use what I call the hybrid system. This system is based on a simple but powerful principle. Only transfer items that meet 3 specific criteria. First, they must be frequently used, daily, or at least weekly. Second, they should be prone to spills or moisture damage. And third, they should be items you typically buy in bulk and need to split up. For everything else, here's the revolutionary part. Leave it in its original packaging. I know this might sound like organizational blasphemy, but hear me out. Most food packaging is designed to be storage efficient and preserve freshness. By transferring everything to containers, you're often creating more work and taking up more space without adding real value. But this doesn't mean we're leaving things disorganized. Instead, we use simple category bins, and I'll show you exactly how to set these up. These bins create order without the maintenance nightmare of individual containers. Think about it. When you bring home groceries, do you want to spend an hour transferring everything to containers, or do you want a system that lets you put things away quickly while maintaining organization? The monthly milestone system is where all of these methods come together to create lasting change. This is the secret to maintaining your pantry long-term without feeling overwhelmed, and it's based on a psychological principle called chunking, breaking big tasks into manageable pieces that your brain can handle without resistance. Instead of trying to keep everything perfect all the time, we're going to focus on one category each week of the month. But here's the crucial difference from other systems. We're going to work with your natural energy patterns. Week 1 focuses on the golden zone, but we do it with what I call the morning momentum technique. This takes advantage of your natural higher energy levels in the morning by incorporating quick checks into your existing routine. Week 2 tackles the flex zone, but we use the cooking connection method. This means you do your flex zone maintenance while you're already in cooking mode, when you're naturally more tuned into your kitchen organization needs. Week 3 addresses deep storage, but with a twist. We use the future self technique, where you organize thinking specifically about what your future self will need in the coming months. The 4th week is perhaps the most important, and it's where most systems completely fail. This is when we do what I call the expiration evolution. Instead of just checking dates, we're creating a dynamic system that prevents expired items from occurring in the first place. This involves setting up what I call time zones in your pantry, areas designated for items that need to be used within specific time frames. But here's what makes this monthly system truly sustainable. It's flexible. If you miss a week, the system doesn't fall apart. Each week's tasks are independent but interconnected, meaning you can adapt the schedule to your life while still maintaining the overall structure. This is crucial because rigid systems fail as soon as life gets busy, and life always gets busy. Let me share a success story that illustrates how these methods work together. Sarah, a busy mom of 3 who works full-time, implemented these systems 6 months ago. The key for her wasn't perfection, it was progress. She started with just the Golden Zone system, then gradually added the other methods as each one became habitual. Today, her pantry stays organized with minimal effort, and more importantly, it stays functional for her entire family. The transformation in her daily life went beyond just an organized pantry. The reduced stress and time savings rippled out to other areas of her life. She found herself cooking more, wasting less food, and actually enjoying her kitchen again. This is what I mean when I say these methods are behavior-changing systems, not just organization tips. Let me share another transformation story that really drives home the power of these methods. Mark, a single dad who works irregular shifts as an ER nurse, thought an organized pantry was impossible with his schedule. He tried countless systems, but they all fell apart within weeks. The turning point came when he implemented what I call the energy-matched organization approach within these 4 methods. For Mark, this meant adapting the 2-minute reset rule to his unique schedule. Instead of forcing himself to do resets when he was exhausted after a night shift, he identified his natural high-energy periods, usually the hour before heading to work, and built his pantry maintenance around these times. This small but crucial adjustment made all the difference. He also discovered an unexpected benefit of the hybrid system. By keeping most items in their original packaging and using category bins, his teenage kids could easily maintain the system too. They knew exactly where things belonged because the system was intuitive, not just aesthetically pleasing. This sparked what I now call the family ripple effect. When one organization system successfully implemented leads to improved organization habits throughout the household. The monthly milestone system proved particularly powerful for Mark's situation. He modified it to align with his 4-day on, 3-day off schedule, creating what he called power hours, focused 60-minute sessions during his days off where he'd tackle one zone at a time. This adaptation shows the flexibility built into these methods. They're frameworks that can be customized to your unique life situation. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in organization videos: the emotional impact of a well-maintained pantry. It's not just about knowing where things are, it's about the confidence and peace of mind that comes from having one area of your life consistently under control. Many of my community members report that their organized pantry becomes a sort of sanctuary, a visible reminder that order is possible even when other aspects of life feel chaotic. This emotional component is why I emphasize the importance of what I call success spots, small areas within each zone that you intentionally keep pristine. These spots serve as visual anchors, reminding you of how good organization feels and motivating you to maintain the rest of the space.
In your golden zone, this might be your coffee station.
In the flex zone, perhaps it's your baking supplies. These success spots act as daily inspiration, showing you what's possible and providing a template for maintaining other areas.
Another crucial aspect that deserves more attention is what I call the seasonal shift strategy.
Your pantry needs flex with the seasons, not just in terms of what you store, but how you store it. During summer months, your golden zone might prioritize quick-grab snacks and drinks. In winter, it might shift to focus on hot beverage supplies and soup ingredients. This seasonal awareness prevents your system from becoming static and unresponsive to your changing needs. The beauty of these methods is that they create what psychologists call a virtuous cycle. As you maintain your pantry with less effort, you find yourself naturally extending these organizational principles to other areas of your kitchen and, eventually, your home. It's not uncommon for my community members to report that starting with their pantry led to complete kitchen transformations, more efficient meal planning, reduced food waste, and even improved family dynamics around food and cooking. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. It's creating a system that works with your life, not against it. These methods have helped thousands of people in our community transform their pantries from sources of stress to spaces of calm. The key is to start with just one method and let it evolve naturally into your daily routine. I recommend beginning with the 80-20 zone system, as it creates the foundation for everything else. But trust your instincts. You know your life and habits better than anyone. Your journey to a consistently organized pantry starts with one small step, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Come back and let me know in the comments which method you're trying. I read and respond to every comment, and our community is incredibly supportive and full of great additional tips and adaptations. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more practical, psychology-based organization methods that actually work in real life, not just in perfectly staged photos. And remember, your pantry should work for you, not the other way around. It should be a space that reduces stress, not creates it. A space that makes your daily life easier, not more complicated. A space that reflects your real life, not someone else's idea of perfection. Start your transformation today. Your future self will thank you.